I'm drinking too.
No hell. I got some of that top shelf. What is it called? Rum from Punta Cana the other day. So I had to give it a try today.
Right. Well, listen. Before we get the show started,
it started. It's on.
Let's just. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Pete.
No, so the show's live. You good?
Let's
making sure you knew before you fucked up.
Let's the big talk of the day, and I didn't think about this last night. So JR brought it up, and I noticed in the video that I was just playing after JR mentioned it. There was kids on that boat with the captain, so I can understand. I can say I can understand. I don't. The children's on the boat, but
tell everyone what you're talking about, Wes.
Okay.
Before you dive into it.
Well, I think everybody would know, but if you hadn't heard about the Two Conks episode where this guy had his children on the boat, and the video showed the captain being real irate and using some really foul language and scaring the kids. But the captain, from what JR told me, the captain did a video today. And from my understanding, this guy was really also pretty much being a dick, acting like he knew everything, trying to tell the captain what to do. Because I heard the captain say in the video, no, he's been doing this for so many years and he's never had nobody on the boat like him. So there's probably a few, I'm pretty sure there were some things that probably led up to that before the guy supposedly slipped or hit the throttle and threw him over the back of the boat. There's two sides to every story, and I haven't watched that captain's video yet, but I will watch it when we get off here. Mm-hmm. What's up, Scott?
What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up? So, Scott, man, tell us. I didn't want to ask via Facebook for all the haters out there or whatever, but so all I saw was your Facebook about things that went wrong on your trip. So what went wrong?
It was one clusterfuck after another.
Oh, boy.
It was one of them trips.
Before we get into Scott, since Wes has already opened the
let's talk about that.
Let's go ahead and get that over with. Here's the post that I was referring to. This is Chris Lassen himself. This is the captain that you heard cussing on the boat. This is his side to the story.
Awesome.
Could you guys read that?
No.
Well, I thought you can't do the video audio.
No.
Okay. Well, he says that.
I read it.
He says these are the people that I took out and posted the video. I'm posting these pics to show you what happened after the video was taken. I would never in my life want any kids to see their dad being told how it is and how it's going to be. But with how the guy was acting after him putting his family and myself in danger, he was very arrogant and didn't comprehend what he just did. Don't be fooled. He didn't slip into the full throttle. Instead, he wandered into the helm area, turned towards the motor, and leaned onto the console and pushed the shifter to full throttle after telling them to stay out of the area several times. The video was edited for a one-sided story. They left out the way he was talking to me. Otherwise, exactly why I went off on him. I started to head in. After a few miles, he repeatedly apologized. I apologized as well. Had a talk with them and decided to keep going. I'm guessing he had a few minutes to realize what he did. We fished 4 more hours in the video, and he tipped me $200. All pics were taken after the video and at the dock. I didn't have a single issue with them at all the last 4 hours. They actually listened and caught some nice fish.
So, like we expected, 2 sides to every story. That's why I hate when people go off on a video where people don't know what really happened to begin with. That's why I said from the chain game, because there's 2 sides of the story. People are already jumping on, judging, what the video showed. But,
I'm not a guide, but if I was in the back of my boat and it was in idle and I told some clown to stay away from the throttle and he leaned into the throttle and threw me over the back of the boat, almost killed me. That'd be a good video about me out there too.
Yep.
Every person, let's be honest. Every person reacts differently when something horrid happens. Some people might cuss up a storm. Some people might want to fight. Some people might just remain calm. It depends from person to person. But
I mean, if you did that to Wesley Rose, he would take his shoes off.
What really made that bad though was there again. He said, I think he said repeatedly, and I think you could see and hear it in some of the video where he was raising hell. He said, I've never been on a trip like this. He said, you don't listen to nothing I've tell you. He said, you think you know everything. So
I kind of think like if he's used to having people that don't know any better on the boat. So if he's in neutral, which it sounded like he was in neutral, he was back unhooking some mahi. He should have cut the motor off. I mean,
I think they were.
I know saltwater guys leave their motors running, but
it's a little different, man. Because if you work in the back of the boat, you might have some lines out already. You can't just cut it off because now you've kind of messed up your.
Well, I mean, I guess if he was trolling still, but the way it sounded like, I don't know. Maybe he did have it knocked in gear and was still pulling base. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a trip tomorrow morning, by the way, and the first thing I'm going to tell them is stay away from the helm, stay away from the throttle before you end up like the dang two conks dudes.
But hey, that's the hot item right now. Just like a month ago, it was the thing with the big rock, and that's going to be the hot item until the next time.
That would be a great parody video. We could go.
I don't think people.
I feel like this video will be like a one and done. You hear about it today, tomorrow, the next day, and then give it about 3 or 4 more days. It's squashed because every side has come out and said something about it. So
I don't know, but can you imagine, like you're back there unhooking this fish and somebody goes full throttle and you flip over the back and land on the swim platform? I mean, you're like scared to death, right? So you get up. I mean, I'm gonna be cussing.
So I was telling the gents there backstage before they went live, before you hopped on there, Scott, I had the same thing happen on my old boat twice in one day. My old little skiff, 18-foot skiff, in the wintertime on Lake Watery in December. Okay. Now, mind you, it wasn't a charter. It was before I became a guide or none of that stuff. It was just me being nice and taking a few elderly gents fishing with me. Okay. And the first time, pretty much, I told him, stand clear of the throttle. I need to run back here, from time to time, whatever. But, they wedged themselves between the dang, the console and the helm, I guess. And they lean backwards, and now the full weight goes back on that dang throttle. And, you go full throttle like that. So after the second time, I didn't snap, but I told him, hey, I told you once, I told you twice. Come on, I could have been overboard, Luckily, it was a low horsepower, 90 horsepower engine, so it didn't quite have the torque to throw me overboard. I was able to catch myself both times.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the Onslow Bay that I was on in Venice, and I think the way that guy was explaining it, when he sets his throttle to a certain speed, it's kind of something like the autopilot. When he hits a button, it don't matter what you do to that throttle, it's going to say that speed until you take it back out and change it. You know what I'm talking about, Pete?
Yep. Thankfully, my boat has the exact same thing. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So stuff like that, there again,
I don't know what it's called. It's a digital troll mode on there.
Yeah. But
you can set the RPM. Just bump it in gear, set the RPM.
I got that on the North River.
My boat doesn't even have a neutral switch. So.
But
like if it's in gear and you cut the boat off and you start it up, if it's in gear, it takes off on you. So
I do think like that dude, if he's a guide, he should have more sense. I mean, that's mostly his fault, really. I mean, he should. I don't know. You can't just go cussing out your clients like that either.
Especially with the kids. I could see like you could lose control. I mean, we've all done it, but I mean, rein it in. He kind of went on a little too long. Yeah. He could have reined that in a little bit.
Well,
but then they give them a $200 tip and have fun, and then they release the video.
Yeah,
that's kind of too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Got the guy fired.
But on the captain's behalf, there again, children was on the boat. But dude, sometimes you just get so mad you wouldn't care if Jesus was standing there.
You're right.
You're gonna say what you're gonna say. And if he had already done told this man, like I said, from the video that I saw, you can hear him saying, he said, I've never been on a trip like this before with somebody like you. You think you fucking know everything. You don't listen, blah, blah, blah. You know, I can understand it. If it had been just like a normal trip, you know, the guy's out there fishing, he made a mistake and slipped, fine. But when you already telling a man numerous times, I do this for a living, you know, we're going to do it my way. It's my boat. I'm going to put you on fish. And from the way he was talking about the guy acted like he knew everything anyway. That irritates you. That really irritates you when you got somebody on your boat and they start trying to tell you how to fish. If you're not asking them, I don't want their fucking advice.
So I want to add one thing to all this also. You know, I want to add one more thing to this. The guy that was getting cussed out, I looked at his background. He's actually from the UK, so it's not like he's in the US that knows what the fuck he's doing.
That experience, he thought he was driving on the wrong side of the boat.
Yeah,
he should have been.
Damn.
He thought he was on the passenger side.
Sure, yeah, they're from like England or something. So yeah, it's not like he knew what the fuck he's doing anyways.
Well, I mean, we're all used to that fishing with Wes. Wes does that at least once a trip. Wes is doing that. Come on.
But I don't think he's out fishing with me.
Can you imagine if there wasn't no tubs at the dock when they got back?
That guy cleaning fish beside y'all, he was tripping on me, wasn't he?
He said he needs a hug.
Hey, that shit did not get me nowhere. I shouldn't have acted like that. When I was hot, I was irritated. You know, I pay all that money down there and I can't get a fucking wheelbarrow to you know, and then we had to park halfway on the other side of the dock. So all them bougie ass fucking people can go up there and eat at Snooki's. I mean, I was just irritated, you know.
Oh yeah, it's understandable.
But anyway.
Well, anyways, yes, since we're doing that, Perry, tell us about your trip there. What went wrong?
Yeah, what all went wrong, Scott?
Dang.
Start from when you left the house.
I don't even know where to start. It was just a cluster. I don't know. Everything went all right. So we got down there, launched the boat, put in, and I started going down the canal, and I was having to, you know, turn to the left. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, like the torque of the motor when I went up on plane was kicking the boat to the right. And I'm sitting there going like hard left, like multiple times just to straighten the boat out. And I'm like, well, this is fucked. Because I had already had spots picked out where I wanted to hit. One was like 6 miles away. The other one was 7 miles away. So then I'm like telling Heather, I'm like, the steering's screwed. I said, there was a creek right there. I said, let's just fish this creek, you know, outgoing tide. I said, we'll just fish this creek. And she's looking behind me. And I look on my shoulder and it's like a black wall of death coming at us. Just lightning and just nasty.
So your steering is basically out. You've obviously you've got some air in your hydraulic system, and so you're turning and it's not doing anything, and you're like, okay, well, you pick a spot out to fish, you're going to tough it out, and now you see this black wall of what is apparently thunderstorms coming at you. So
damn squall. Yeah.
So what happens next? You tell Heather to put away.
I tell her
put away everything.
Well, I was kind of like that. I was kind of like that guy. I was like, so I was like, well, put away anything that you want to keep dry because we're getting ready to get heavy.
Listen to this.
And so I'm watching her, and she puts away the Cheetos and the toilet paper. That's the only thing you're worried about.
Damn.
So, anyways, we do fish some, and I mean, there was tons of bait in the creek. There was tons of bait, but no fish. And then I decided to go put it on the trailer and go to West Marine and get some fluid and try to bleed the steering out. And I went and did that, bled the steering out, got some air out, got some fluid in it, thought I was good to go, got back. It's a 30-minute ride one way, 30-minute back, dumped the boat back in, steering still fucked up. So I was a little pissed. So you tried to put a boat on a trailer with the tide ripping out with no steering? That's fun. That's real fun. So anyways.
I have to just rope it.
Yeah. So we got it back on the trailer, went to the beach the next day, and on the way home today, like one of the guides, I was looking out the mirror, and one of the guides, you got the PVC guides, one's laying up for this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I pull over and no shoulder. I pull over, turn the four ways on, go back there. One of the U-bolts had broke off that guide, so it was laying over. So I had to tie it up, duct tape it.
You reckon that's where the current? You reckon that's where the current was? You using the guide to? I have been in current before. I just get the nose of the boat past the guide and then use the motor to kind of ease it on around.
I mean, them U-bolts, that trailer's seen better days. Them U-bolts were rusted up, and one just gave out at the perfect time for me to get pissed off.
Mama said there'd be days like that, right? There you go.
So basically, I hauled the boat, hauled my rods. I put a new stereo on the boat, new speakers. Hauled it 4 hours, got down there and fished for about 20 minutes.
That's rough.
Ouch. Well, you know.
I tell you, that's the only two things I worry about on my boat when I'm offshore. The only two things that really concerns me is a pop-up storm or something happening and my motor's going out. And, I've got two motors, but at the end of the day, there's numerous things that can happen where both of your motors can go out.
Yeah, because you only got one gas tank, so you get water in your gas or something, they both out. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm telling you, if something like that happens, though, it is up to you as a captain to figure it out because it's your boat. You should know how it's wired. You should know what's wrong. And I'm going to tell you a scenario, actually, what happened. The boat that I own right now, before I owned it, the guy that owned it allowed me to use the boat for a tournament he could not make. So I was in charge. I knew the boat inside out because I've run it for over 150 hours, I guess, since he had it. And on tournament day, we break out the inlet. We're hauling ass out, and we hit a wave, and I lose everything. I lose electronics. I lose freaking the motor. Anything power-wise, gone, and it's dead in the water. So the first thing I do is drop anchor, and I knew right then, right that second, exactly what it was. I told Jared, my buddy was with me, look at the master switch, see if that thing busted. And sure enough, pop that panel, and the master switch, for some reason, was absolutely shattered. So a lot of times when we lose all electronics, master switch is the number one thing. It's the reason why.
It sounds like my boat. I swapped motors on my boat. I done all the work myself. That's why it's pretty patched together. And so I went from a Mercury to a Johnson OMC 98 model 150, and there's this one wire. I have it electrical taped, and if it comes undone, then I'm dead in the water. Yeah. It's just Keith
oh
Wood.
Boy.
Hey, Bo, what's going on?
Yeah,
Keith,
I
do you
guess
not know we're in the middle of a show, bud?
Yeah, damn, Wes.
so. Anybody that's fished a lot, like I used to fish a lot. I don't fish a lot anymore, but I mean, God, the problems you got to overcome. I wired up. I had headlights on my old center console, and I rewired them before a tournament. And they're, headlights on a boat are pretty much a waste anyways, but I used them to anchor up cut baiting before daylight. It would help me see where I was putting anchors out. And so I rewired them. We were in a Murray tournament. It was like 40 boats. So everybody's lined up dumping boats, just like, and my partner drops me in, and I flipped the switch, and apparently I didn't mean to hit the headlight switch, but apparently I hit the switch for the headlights, and somehow I had them things wired up 24 volt. So all of a sudden I had these super bright headlights, and the next thing you know, there's smoke coming out of my freaking center console, and it's rolling, and you got like 200 people standing around freaking out, people grabbing fire extinguishers and shit. And so it like smoked the wire all the way from the battery all the way up to the switch.
Oh yeah! Wow.
I mean, that's boat shit, man. You always got something going on.
I've done that. I have done that, buddy. I hooked the battery up wrong one time, and I had to get the fire extinguisher out. It was bad.
You learn from that stuff, though.
And then one time after I swapped the engines, I hooked the battery up backwards, and it didn't do anything, but everything was backwards. Like when I would go to like trim up, it would trim down. When I trim down, it would trim up. And when I would hit the starter, when I'd go to start the boat, the Bendix was spinning the wrong way. And I could not figure it out for the life of me. I'm like, man, what is wrong? Why ain't the Bendix engaging the flywheel and starting this damn thing? What's wrong with it? And I would trim up, it would trim down, and I got a new starter from not Junior Warscow, but his brother gave me a new starter that he had for his old OMC. So I put it on there, same thing. And then one day I just finally, you guys might remember this when I was going through this, but I finally realized that I had reverse polarity, and I just it's easy to do.
Come on.
I don't know if you guys are like me, but like if I got to bust a bolt loose or just, wrench on none of that bothers me. But when it comes to electronics, like electrical shit, like that's my grimace, man.
Dude,
like,
so you say that I can do a lot of stuff. I can fix a lot of my shit, maintenance wise, whatever. But wiring, electrics, no. And that is why when I got the whole live scope thing. I took it to JC. I didn't tell a lot of folks, but I took it to JC. And I said, JC, here's this. Here's what I want, and treat it like it's your boat. No timeline. Take your time. I know you're a busy guy, yada, yada. Do it right, And so he did it right. No doubt about it. But ain't no way in hell I could do
it. And he would have a field day with my boat. He would have my boat for like a year.
It looks really good. I ain't going to lie. It looks really
good.
The
guy who owned my flats boat, man, he wired this son of a bitch. Like, I mean, it's in bad shape. It needs to be completely rewired. But I get up, my boat's like this big, and my shoulders are this big, and I'm trying to get up in there. I'm like, I just want to pull everything out. But
that's right.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, what all did you have done to your boat, Pete?
So I had the live scope put in the very front. Then I had the live scope network with my. So in the very front, I have the 126 SV for the live scope. My main unit's a 106 SV. So I have a network to where both are talking together. A new charger installed, which I could have done that myself. I might as well have them get all that done. The wiring cleaned up a lot better than what it is. And biggest thing is the conversion from lead acid to lithium. Got the lithium batteries in there, and so I'm sure that JC had to change the terminals on a lot of the wiring. He cleaned it up to where now I have. So the old way I had things, everything was straight to a battery, and I knew when I bought the boat right away, I'm like, this has got to change at some point. I might as well do it now. So now instead of going straight to a battery, we have it going to an actual breaker box and then to a battery there. So it's done right.
Well, believe it or not, I've got a electronics expert's going to be on here with us shortly.
Oh, really? That's who?
Oh, must be JC.
The most busted ass wiring I've seen around boats. Like you'll see some crazy shit. Twisted together with nuts and.
Oh, you have no idea. I went to a different engine on my boat. Okay, so. As long as that damn thing cranks up and runs, that's all I wanted, and that's all I got. And you don't want to see the wiring on my boat.
So you might remember JC posting in the chain gang something about a bunch of wiring being piggybacked. That was my boat, by the way.
Oh, was it?
And it wasn't from me; it was from the prior owner.
I bet it was.
I don't know anything. Oh,
that's like on my flats boat. It's got 2 cranking batteries, and it's got the switch for 1, 2, or both.
Yeah,
and
switch.
Yeah, well, on one there's like 12 fucking little thin hot wires coming off the battery. Like I don't even know where the hell they go because it's got a fuse box.
That's probably your accessories wire. That's probably
but everything's wired to this block. This fuse block. So I don't know what all this like. It's so small. There's no telling what the hell it's probably going to nothing.
word of advice for anyone that fishes a lot, that has their boat wired to a switch, whether it's one of those 2-position switches or just a on and off master type switch. Have a spare with you at all times, because I can't tell you how many times in my old boat the switch goes out. And if the switch goes out,
you're talking about a bus switch.
No, just like a mash switch.
You're talking about what I was talking about?
Either that or a push button switch. That or a push button switch where you can turn off and on.
Mine has the toggle, and then underneath the toggle it has the
little red button.
If it trips, the red button will pop out.
I have trips.
Now you got that switch for what?
What's the one that JR is talking about, you make sure you have a spare with you at all times. I can't tell you how many times that switch has gone bad with me on my old boat.
That's what I got.
They do wear out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they will wear out. I remember I used to have to take and like tap mine to get it to boom.
Yep.
Pop out.
If you gotta tap it, that thing ain't gonna last much longer. And I've been there, done that with that same exact switch.
That's why I'm one of the reasons why my boat will never see salt water again.
Now, what switch are y'all talking about on the trolling motor?
No,
you got a main switch that goes like battery 1, battery 2, battery 1, 2.
I'm talking about on your Perco.
Okay, we're talking about 3 different things here now. Like Scott's talking about the Perco.
What are you talking about?
On my boat.
Peter and I are talking about
both.
The switch
I'm talking about both. What Scott's talking about and what JR's talking about, the same exact thing. Make sure you have a spare for both.
The one JR's talking about is like a 40 amp, right? With the little. Yeah.
It's a little black box with a little red dot with a yellow toggle switch thing that goes up and down.
That's what I got directly to my trolling motor. One of them.
Yeah, you make sure you have a spare.
I've got one of them on my trolling motor. I don't know what's going to my big motors. I know I got 2 Perco switches, one on each side of the boat, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're fused. I would guess.
Whenever I put me a big old XL brand new white Suzuki 140 on my boat, then I'm gonna have them to rewire the whole thing. So that's what
I got a 2016. I might get ready to sell you. Just park my boat out.
I doubt it has an XL shaft.
No, I don't.
I will tell you what JR did. We were having some issues going offshore one day. The motor and the RPMs. And my water separators, a lot of times they'll seize up, but they're really bad about sticking in salt water. They're just, you just hand tighten them and leave them a couple of weeks, even in that environment, they're going to seize up. So that port motor was not running the RPM like it was supposed to. We could not didn't have nothing to get that water separator off. So you know what JR did? Blew my mind. He takes his belt off and puts his belt up around that water separator and uses it for leverage and actually got that shit broke loose. It blew my mind.
Yeah, I got one of them on my boat that I need to replace the whole thing because you can't get that damn filter off. I put all kinds of damn filter wrenches. I got it dented up, trying to get it off. It's that salt water, man. That's salt water. Get them.
Well, I change mine twice a year now. I have he's servicing my motors twice a year.
Oh yeah.
Salt water will tear some shit up.
Yep. That and salt air. Oh hell.
Oh, hey,
well. If it isn't washed up and washed out.
Here he is live on his Motorola Razor.
Washed up and washed out. I love it.
What's up, JC
I don't
Crowder?
even know who the hell that is.
JC Crowder is the Chain Gang wiring specialist.
Is that JC Crowder?
I was just talking good about you, man.
Oh man, you must not have used that boat too much then.
Yeah. Well, we're using it tomorrow for an actual guide trip. So that's when
JC, I got a project for you, boy.
Yeah, that's what I need. Shit to work on.
Do I get the Chain Gang discount?
You can PM me. We'll talk about it in private.
JR, so what all did you do to Pete's boat, JC? And how long? What kind of warranties did he get?
He called you JR.
But before we talk about what you did, talk about how much of a piece of shit it came to you as.
Well, so admittedly, most of the center console bay boats that are being put out right now, the wiring is mediocre at best. I mean, that's Pioneer, Bulls Bay, Sea Pro, every one of them. It's all the same. It's all junk. And then, that's exacerbated by guys that are DIYing their own installs with piggyback spade connectors, which I think ought to be illegal. But yeah, we cleaned up a little bit of that. We went all lithium with Peter's boat, which I'm a little impressed with. I'm skeptical of them, especially from a safety standpoint, but weight and performance, I mean, that's awesome. So we put those in. We got his live scope wired up. We networked 2 of his graphs, and isolated some of the circuits on their own fuses versus a breaker. And that's it in a nutshell.
Is it the type of coating that's on the wires, JC? Isn't the best coating for marine wiring nickel?
I don't know that. I like the tinned wire.
Tinned wire, yeah.
For most applications, and I like to oversize the wire, and that's definitely something I don't see a lot of.
Are you in a closet?
I'm in my truck.
Where are you at?
Well, his audio's good. That's all that matters.
I'm in the Walgreens parking lot.
You must be in a Ford.
Thought he had to hide from his wife or something. I don't know.
Hey JC, I'm gonna bring my boat home after I'm done with Chesapeake Bay next year.
All right.
I'll have it here February, March, and April, and I may want you to go through it, and anything that you look like it needs to be changed, change it. And I promise you, I won't sell the boat the next week. I promise.
I wonder what causes the poor quality in these boats, are mediocre at best, as you said. What causes these systems to fail?
Because they want to pump them out
Money.
as fast
They don't
as
want
possible.
the money.
Is it the thickness of the wire? Is it oxidization?
Most of it, in my opinion, is craftsmanship. A lot of the faults I see are on terminations and the quality of wires and just the routing of wires too. I see a lot of chafing and things like that.
So not necessarily because are they what did you say? Tinned? Are they tinned wires for the most part?
Most of what I've seen is not.
Okay. So that's probably one of your biggest problems is the fact they're not using tinned wires.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I guess an argument to that too is, I know a lot of boat manufacturers have not used tin wires in the past for things like nav lights and things. And it's one of those things, I guess, that, if it's not broke, don't fix it, or don't fix it until it breaks. I don't know.
So what do you guys use for I know myself, I had to learn the hard way. When I first got a 24-volt trolling motor, my jumper cable between my two 12-volt batteries, I started out just using a cheap, I don't even know what, some type of galvanized jumper wire for a lawnmower is what I was using on my trolling motor. And it would rust out in like a month's time. It would be like just fully coated in rust. And finally,
I think I got 8-gauge aluminum, I think.
Finally, I got a tinned wire, thicker gauge tinned wire.
I'll make this argument too. I'll say that most of the problems I see with trolling motor wiring comes from the terminations themselves. Whether it's a lug that's not crimped right or sized right for the terminal. So what happens is a loose connection changes the resistance in the connection and causes the current spike. And current is heat. So now you've got something getting hot. You've got something that's moving. And then, the nature of wiring too is as it's being used, it heats up. So it's constantly expanding and contraction. And that just exacerbates that poor termination. So that goes back to craftsmanship playing a factor.
Let me ask you this, JC.
Hey, JR, I got 2 things for him. First of all, as electrician or somewhat electrician, I do know copper, you have to use, when you're sizing wire for amps, copper carries a lot more amps than aluminum. So if you're doing aluminum wire versus copper, you're going to have to always go bigger to get the amp draw that you will out of copper. Now I know copper rusts quicker than aluminum does. So in any application, do you want to go aluminum all the time in salt water when you can? And my second thing is, just like on a trolling motor, my trolling motor, I think, has got number 6 wire on it. But if your wire is too small or your wire is not sized right, it's going to make whatever you're trying to pull with that motor run a higher amp draw, which you're not going to get the life out of that motor. That motor is going to run a whole lot hotter. Like, say, for instance, if your trolling motor, if you don't have that wire size right, that thing's pulling a lot more amps and it's killing your battery and it's punishing your trolling motor.
Yeah. And you've probably got a 36-volt trolling motor, right?
I do.
Yeah, that's probably why you've got smaller gauge wire.
I think he's got a number 6. I think he's got number 6 copper on my trolling motor.
Maybe
I think a lot of guys are probably confusing the tinned wire for aluminum because it kind of looks like it's aluminum.
It could be. I can't speak to that. That's not something I'm an expert on.
So they make insulated tinned wire. I thought tin meant just that little drop of solder on the end of it.
No, it's fully insulated tinned wire. Absolutely. That's been the best that I've used for as far as a jumper wire. I mean, I've had the same tinned jumper wire now for years, and it has no corrosion whatsoever on it. I forgot what I was going to ask JC.
If you can catch me on a better night, I'll go out in the shop and have a couple different connections and scenarios.
That's what I was going to ask you. What do you think about because some people, their school of thought is to not seal their connections. A lot of guys will use the shrink tube, like a butt connector with the shrink tube, and they'll put the heat to it and make it fully watertight. And then some guys will use connections and they won't be watertight whatsoever. And their theory is if moisture does get to it, it will dry out. Yeah. Whereas if it's sealed and moisture does happen to get to it, it will never dry out and it'll cause it to fail.
There's two thoughts of that too. There's moisture and then there's also oxygen. Oxygen is what, it inhibits oxidation. So I always try to seal what I can. And I like to use the PIDG terminals with the glue inside of it. And 20 years ago, it might have been okay to use that because you'd have to get in your truck and go to a hardware store or whatever. But, with Amazon and companies like that, West Marine, where you can have those parts here in 2 days, there's really not an excuse to not do things the right way the first time,
Mm-hmm. Do you ever use liquid electrical tape?
Hell no.
No? Okay.
No. I use 33 plus.
I know with I got a bait tank right now, 30 gallon, and if I crimp the wires on it, the copper's so corroded, like it'll just break.
Yeah. Yeah. You need new wires.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming from the bilge pump, so I know the copper.
Is it a Shad Shack?
No, it's actually a creek bank, 30 gallon. But it's a, the bilge pump nowadays sucks, so it's like my 10th bilge pump on that tank. So
yeah, and that's something I've been doing too on my boat. I try to standardize the disconnects. So I've got like a Milwaukee 12-volt battery I can slave in at any given time and run bilge pumps or transfer pumps or lights or whatever.
When you see copper
earlier today,
you ever peel copper wire back, and either the hard copper or stranded copper, when you peel that wire back or you go to trim it, if it's got a dark looking color or black looking, that means you've been pulling too many amps through that wire.
Well, it could be, or it could be corrosion too. When you see heat, you should see it on the insulation as well.
Okay, so if you don't see it on the insulation,
or color, or you should be able to smell it.
So if you don't see if the insulation looks like it's in perfect condition and the wire looks burnt, or discolored, then it probably wasn't heat, right? It was probably
too many amps pulling through it.
Because that would have been heat, and you would have been able to see it on the wires, maybe sometimes. So, but it was probably like JC was saying, it was just oxidization.
It's like with my bilge pump, I know it's from the salt water in the bait tank water causing it to
corrode.
Causing the wire to corrode, yeah.
And you can also use dielectric grease too, and that'll help seal those contacts up a little bit.
Is that good for your bait?
I can't speak on the bait, but like I run Garmin graphs and I take my graphs off every time I use them, and I try to keep a little dielectric grease on them to keep everything sealed and.
That's why I'm going to ask you if that grease is worth a damn, because I have a whole couple tubes in my dang shed here, and my old boat used to stick that shit on battery terminals all the damn time. But is that actually pretty good?
It's cheap insurance, man.
Yeah, I put it on my trolling motor plug on all the time and never have an issue with it.
Yeah, and
tell them what dielectric grease was really designed for.
JC.
JC. Huh?
I don't know the history of dielectric grease.
It's when you're connected, like if you use a split bolt connector and you're connecting copper to aluminum, that grease keeps the aluminum from oxidizing because it'll fail quicker than copper will. And when you're running current through two different metals, it oxidizes quicker, it'll fail quicker. So the dielectric grease keeps that, it helps keep the aluminum to stay to par with the copper is what it does basically. That's actually what it's used for. It's what it was designed for.
I know if you got a stainless rod holder basis with aluminum mounts and salt water,
even in fresh water, they weld
Yeah.
together no matter what water.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, no. So I gave my boat to JC. Like back in what was it, June? I guess maybe late June, mid June, somewhere thereabouts. And I pretty much told him, this and that, and no timeline. Just do it right, basically. Do it like it was your boat, pretty much. And like I said, he did a pretty fine job. So I'm quite impressed. Looked very great. Highly recommend it. Anyone out there watching, contact him. Don't if you do, get a wiring job, don't expect to get it done immediately. Great craftsmanship takes time. So, give him time, let him get it done, and you'll be happy for sure.
I appreciate that, Peter. And I guess to add to that too, effectively fixing boats is a hobby at this point. I've got a full-time career now. I do this because I enjoy it and I enjoy the community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does anybody else have any electrical questions for JC? Okay, well, JC, we're about to dive into some flathead fishing. You're welcome to stay on if you'd like.
No, I like women, so I'm going to dip out.
All right, thanks for coming on, JC, buddy.
I do appreciate it, man.
You're good, JC.
Yeah.
Later, buddy.
All right, so
it's been a great show, guys. I don't know nothing about fucking flatheads. Got to go. See you.
We got to touch on it. We got to touch on some flatheads because that's kind of like what we titled the show tonight. So, flatheads are a most people. What are you drinking on, Peter? What is that?
This is some top shelf rum from Punta Cana that
rum.
I stopped and got some there.
It's made from molasses. It's very sweet.
Anyways,
if I was Peter, do you know how many kids I would have in other countries?
How many what?
I would have so many kids in other countries.
Damn.
I would have kids in Puerto Rico, Mexico.
He could have.
You
Flatheads are.
If I see a little bunch of short, smart ass motherfuckers walking around when I go to Jamaica, I'll know.
Damn. Oh hell.
I took a guy fishing one time, and he's probably caught more trophy striper than any of us or all of us combined. And I put him on a little teenage flathead, and he said that thing fights just as hard as any striper. He's pound for pound as any.
I know you're not talking about your ranking who fished for 3 years with stripers.
I know you ain't
He
talking
did not
about
catch more trophies than anybody you know. He was a rookie. He was a Guggen. Still a Guggen.
But he's caught a massive amount of trophy stripers.
He fished in fucking Carthage for 3 years. What do you want him to catch? Stinks.
And it was a good time he fished in Carthage too, because and he
He was
fished Bull
jacked
Run.
up on Adderall fishing off other people's numbers.
he also fished Bull Run, which is non-existent anymore. So in any event, he's caught a bunch of big stripers, and he absolutely loved catching a teenage flathead. Flatheads they're not like blue catfish. They grow faster than any other species of catfish. They get huge. They don't get quite as big as Arkansas blue catfish, but they do get very big. I think the South Carolina state record's like 84, 85 pounds.
As big
North Carolina,
as a Volkswagen.
I think when they talk about fish that are as big as a Volkswagen, it might be the flathead they're talking about. I think that there's probably more myth involved in flatheads than blues. But they like live bait. They'll basically starve themselves until they can get live bait. They're not like any other of these scavenger species. They're not like a channel cat or a blue cat. They're not going to just eat anything. They prefer good live bait, and they'll They'll ambush their prey. A lot of guys in river systems will target them on like log jams and around. They love wood. They love undercut banks. More so on reservoirs, they're gonna spawn on undercut banks. They're gonna spawn on riprap. You're gonna catch a lot of post spawn flatheads on main lake points right on some riprap, which is where Spivey and we had a flathead only tournament this past weekend, and that's where we went. The first place we went was, we shouldn't have went there because we ended up getting skunked on flatheads. We didn't catch a single flathead. It was only a 5-hour tournament. I guess these guys don't realize that us reservoir guys need longer than 5 hours to catch a fish. But when we do catch a fish, we're probably going to obliterate the competition because these guys were fishing. I don't know where they were fishing, but they were fishing like rivers, and they were catching a bunch of flatheads, but they were all little, like 7-pounders. We can catch a 30-pounder like on our reservoirs, but it takes
I think
some
most
time.
I think most cat fishermen don't target flatheads due to what you just said. They're a predator. They're a live bait predator.
They are a live bait predator, and we stopped on the main, and this is where I think we made the mistake, because where we caught bait was basically on the main river channel, right off of the main river channel, basically right up on the bank. And we threw a cast net and we caught all the perch you could possibly dream of. I mean, we had a bait tank just slap full of big, good size, perfect size flathead perch. And the first place we went was a main lake point. Well, those flatheads are feeding on those perch. So why we didn't fish right on the bank on the main river channels is beyond me, but that's where we probably should have fished. But we ended up getting skunked. The water was very high. I haven't seen the water that high in a long time. I have no. Why is the water so high, Peter, on the Catawba?
I don't know. Good question.
That's
probably not pumping it. They're probably holding it.
Did you guys fish Norman?
No, we fished Wiley.
All right.
Is that is the lower dam on Wiley generate power or no?
Yes, it does. But we ended up fishing a shoal. We ended up fishing a main lake point, and we ended up fishing another main lake point off of an island in the main river channel. And we fished, I think, 4 different spots. And all we caught was one. I think it was a channel cat. Actually, it was a big channel cat. It was probably a 7-pound channel cat. That's all we caught.
So I don't know nothing about flatheads, but every time I accidentally catch one, it's more shallow than anything else, except maybe channels.
The other day, I was out in Norman there, playing my live scope, crappie fishing, really. And main purpose of my trip a couple days ago, we'll say about a week ago, roughly, was just to find brush piles for future trips in the wintertime. Fished a few piles that I found. But one spot in particular, man, I feel like I marked or scanned a bunch of flatheads sitting in about 12 foot of water. And I mean, I feel like they're flatheads because you can see them just sitting like that and then gone together. They take off. And that's one thing about live scope, man, that I've found pretty unique, where you can kind of sort of pick and choose what fish you're marking. Like you see that fish in the bottom next to a brush pile, that's a damn flathead or a blue cat or something, But that's one thing I found very impressive, is you can actually mark these fish sitting right on the damn bottom. Yeah. And if you want to go after them, I'll tell you exactly where. I don't care.
The spawn with these fish, they're about like a striper. A striper, you're going to have to wait until they're several years old before they actually start to spawn. And that's one of the reasons why you'll catch a lot of smaller fish in the summertime, is because those fish are they're pre-spawn fish. They're not running with they're not migrating with the larger migratory fish. Same way in saltwater.
And God, have you ever thought about getting a live scope?
Who?
Scott. I said, have you ever thought about getting a live scope?
I'm not a graph guy. I'm not an electronics guy.
You 100% are a graph guy. I have fished an SPC with you, and all you did was study that graph, and everything we did was based on that graph.
Yeah, but I don't think live scope would help me striper fishing. I think it would help me catching striper bait.
I tell you what he would do is he would spend too much time with his eyes glued to the screen. That's what he would do.
Crappers don't hold the structure like catfish and crappie. You know,
I think personally that live scope may make things a little different overall. And when I say that is, for example, me and my partner Cody talked about that as far as my tournament partner there. Where a lot of times we're trolling and you get that live scope and you kind of scan it towards a bank, and you can a lot of times see those striper maybe sitting in about 12, 15 foot of water on let's say a mud flat or a point or something, so that's something that live scope would help you with if you see him sitting right along that rock ledge or something versus anything else. So I think
what about where Scott fishes, like on Hartwell, and he's trolling over a bunch of trees? Like, would the live scope help with that while you're trolling?
Side scan would be a lot more beneficial than live scope on that. But it really varies from scenario to scenario overall.
I mean, that watching the graph stuff is a dead of winter or dead of summer for me.
That's exactly it. Dead of winter, no doubt.
I mean, spring, fall, you got fish that are roaming. You got schools that are roaming. I mean, you're pretty much fishing areas looking for bait more than fish. But I mean, if live scope was free, I'd have it. But I don't know if it would help me that much for what I do.
If you're
if
fishing
I was a crappie fisherman, 100% I'd have one because they hold on brush. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I would buy it and put it on my saltwater boat. I need to Google this because I haven't really asked nobody. I don't know nobody, but I'm just wondering how good it would work in salt water. Say in 25, 30 foot deep of water, like trying to catch Manhattan or whatever, or Cigar Mendes, whatever you're trying, whatever's in that area. Just how good it would work in salt water, or would the salinity, the salts in the water have anything?
The only thing it'll be good for is, like you say, catching Menhaden, pogies, or maybe finding trout in the backwaters in the wintertime.
How would that salt water affect that transducer?
I don't know. Good question. There's a boat in my marina that has live scope, and I hadn't talked to the guy that owns it, but I see it there all the time. Apparently, I guess he's liking it. So,
Chris Layton said it works just as good in salt.
Hey, Chris, what are you using it for in salt, and how deep are you using it? Hell, I might have to go get that. I might let JR put that on my boat.
JC.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't want me putting it on.
But hey, I tell you, I love my depth finder. I did figure out. You can ask JR when we're out. Yeah, catching pogies. When you're out fishing with me offshore, I'm not dropping a line till I mark fish. I'm not dropping a line and drifting. I'm not. JR, tell them when I tell you to drop them, you catch fish.
Yeah.
To me, if I was trying to, and I'm a Guggen, but if I was trying to catch pogies or Manhattan or whatever, I would be using side scan because that would tell me what side of the boat to throw on more than live scopes. I mean, you got to sit. Don't you have to sit still basically with it?
No.
I mean,
so
no.
I'll tell you one thing about live scope is you can haul ass. Like you can on let's say 6 or 7 and haul ass, and I can set my live scope to where I can see about 120 feet ahead, and that far ahead, you don't quite get definition, but you can tell if something is there, like bait or a big pile of crappie, for example. Okay. As you get closer, you reduce that visibility to 60 feet ahead of you or 80 or whatever. And now you're starting to paint pictures of brush pile structure as well as fish on it, per se. As you get closer, you get to see it all.
What transducer are you running? You running the 34?
I got the 34, yeah.
Are you running yours on a trolling motor or a pole?
A stick.
Stick.
Yep.
I'd have to put mine on my trolling motor.
I can see where structure fish, it would really help. Bass, crappie.
Yep. Bass, yeah. Crappie. Yeah, you're right.
There's times out in the ocean where, the pogies are there, but they're so scattered that you might throw your big ass net and catch 1 or 2. But if you perhaps put that live scope in there, you can kind of find where the concentration of pogies are overall and kind of pinpoint where that.
Well, first thing is y'all saltwater guys need to quit throwing bananas because that ain't nothing but what I think. You try to throw these 14-foot nets.
No, never mind. You don't have the live scope on the boat that you target kings.
I really watch live scope in action. Actually, the last 2 times I've seen it was with Anthony Johnson, and it's versus throwing a net a couple of times, or maybe even 1 time, or throwing that son of a bitch 50 times, and still not getting nothing. That's the difference.
Yep.
What size net do you use?
Live scope will tell you where not to throw the net.
Are you asking me what size nets?
Yeah, when you're, if you're targeting, I'm sure if you're targeting pogies, big pogies, you're probably throwing a bigger
one net
net.
and 1 net only. And it's a 10-footer.
What size net?
I take that back. I have 2 10-foot nets. One's a 1/2 inch. One is 5/8 inch. And to be quite honest, I don't really find a difference between one and the other. It's just what I found at that store at that time.
You ever Christmas tree it on when you get on some small bait?
Do I ever Christmas tree it? I taco the hell out of it occasionally.
I have a 1/4 inch net just for mainly Lake Norman for catching the herring for the hybrids, and you can't Christmas tree a 1/4 inch net.
So is that what guys use for these shrimp, the 1/4 inch nets?
Yes. Yep.
That's what I use. I love a 1/4 inch net, man.
They throw a lot better. I know that.
They do. They throw nice.
When I was throwing for Mongo gizzards, I was using the big 1 inch?
1 inch, yeah.
Yeah, they sink super fast, but man, you will get a Christmas tree in a minute if there's some thread fin.
Or white perch. I used to throw a 1 inch for white perch on Wiley a lot, and there's some pretty god awful Christmas trees.
Yeah. Benji has asked a question right here. How many of y'all finished? Let's see. All of y'all have finished in the SBC. How have y'all finished? Asking for Tony Watt. Benji, I am actually in the championship, so nice try if you're trying to flame me. I'm in there. I'm in the top 25.
Best I finished was 6th on Heart Wolf. I've not done good done good in that tournament.
I think everyone in the chain gang is actually in the championship except for you, Benji. So nice try.
Hey Benji, where did you finish in SBC?
Oh, he's going to say that time he finished first when Pontooni's trolling motor broke down and they were dragging bait with the wind and got lucky as hell.
Lake Cherokee actually absolutely, us doing good in Cherokee put us in the top 25, no doubt about it. So actually worked out pretty good.
So the next one is on Santee, correct?
Yep.
In December?
That's our championship. I think December 1st, 2nd, something like that. Yep. I know nothing about Santee, but the lakes I know nothing about, I seem to do better. So who knows?
I know it's a shallow lake. I can tell you that.
I know I got to watch out for my lower unit. That's all I know.
You probably don't need the lead core.
If you're on that upper lake and you get out of that channel, you better know where the fuck you're at when you get out of that channel. Lower lake's not that bad. That upper lake is bad.
We'll talk later on, but plenty of time between there and now.
You know what messed that lake up, don't you?
What's that?
Well, you know what messed the upper lake up down there, don't you?
No, what's that?
Relations.
No, Hurricane Hugo. Before Hugo hit, that lake literally looked like a forest. It was a lake embedded in it was impounded in a forest. And when Hugo came through, it broke about 80% of the trees off right at the water line. And it's been dangerous ever since.
Gotcha.
I might have told you the story, but the DNR came to one of our Striper Kings meetings, and he said that the Laotians were up there at the upper end in the spring, and they'd have tarps in their beds, and they would throw a 1/4 stick of dynamite in the river up there. Yeah, and they would just be netting these stripers and just filling truck beds full of stripers up there. So ridiculous. I think that was one of the main things that hurt that.
I heard what also hurt Santee is all the guides out there where they take a morning trip, catch a limit, come back, pick up next group, go back out there, pick up next group, and so on and so forth. So I heard that.
Yeah, it gets hammered. It gets hammered. I did hear though that it's coming back a lot from after the new regulations.
They fished. Who won that tournament last year at Santee when Skipper and him was down there when I was in that catfish tournament?
I don't remember.
Well, guys, it's been a good show. Wes, are you wanting to keep going?
Hell yeah.
We got a lot of viewers. Yeah, let's roll.
Okay.
Roll.
I'm gonna let you guys keep going. I'm gonna say good night. I'll see you guys next week.
You'll be back on here.
Yeah.
Oh, is Paradise calling it too?
No, he's going to get him a drink.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
There you go. We're talking Striper, so he's coming back, boy.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we Lake, talking about the SBC Cherokee Lake, we did pretty good. So that actually, we came in with the mindset that we had to finish top 10 to qualify for the championship. We finished 11th. We qualified, so it worked out perfect.
Yeah, Santee's really coming back. The last 10 years, there's really been a lot of nice striper caught down there.
Uh-huh.
And I think they're enforcing the striper regulations down there more than they are the catfish.
Are they? Good.
Yeah. That's a lot of water to cover down there, though.
Shit, don't even mention it, man. Fuck.
That's a lot of water.
Fuck.
A lot of
Well,
water.
It's kind of impressive. Sober today.
You're gonna be down there with them hillbillies, Pete. You better work on that accent.
Down there with them geeches.
Hey,
knock a couple teeth out.
Well, my dang my tournament partner's got that accent, so we're good. We're good. Cody, yeah.
Yeah, I believe Santee's a big gizzard shad lake. That's what I hear.
No,
I know they have
no, it's river herring.
Well, they have mullet. They have mullet in there too, saltwater mullet.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Pete, I will tell you this. If I was fishing a striper tournament down there, and a lot of people were not looking at it, a few people did and caught fish. I haven't fished down there in years. When they're pulling water, which they're usually pulling water through the diversion canal most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Pull planer boards on the bank because those striper will get up in that diversion canal. They'll stay right at the mouth of it.
That's what I hear. Yeah. So plenty of time between there now. I'm not even worried about it. I don't stress the small stuff. It's like, I got nothing to lose. I go in there, have fun, fucking catch a few fish, and whatever happens.
Well, it's right in your wheelhouse in December. Should be a small bait bite.
Yep. The colder it gets, the better it'll get. So yeah, you know how that goes.
I don't know, Scott. That water is not really that cold down there in December.
It depends year to year, man. It really does.
Yeah, it has to be a real early winter for that water to get cold in December down there.
Well, it's so shallow, though. I mean, if the top gets a little chilly, the whole water column gets cold. So.
That's the thing. It's a shallow lake. So, yeah, it will get cold a lot faster than some of these others. But, slightly.
As far as I know, it's the only lake where stripers, freshwater impoundment, where stripers reproduce naturally.
It's funny we're talking about Santee. Daryl Barney called me today and wanted to know. He said, do you know landlocked bass? And I was like, do I know who? And he said, you're friends with him on Facebook. And I said, oh, you talking about Rich King, the guy that did the documentary? I said, yeah, I know Rich. And he said, well, he's got a bait tank for sale. He put a bait tank for sale on one of the pages. And Daryl said, I've been messaging him. Can you see if he sold it or not? So I looked back in my contacts, and I forgot how I had him listed. Well, after I got off the phone with Daryl, I looked back through and I said, I think I've got him listed as Rich. So I called him and it was Rich King. So I talked to Rich for about an hour today, and we were talking about that documentary. And, he said, Warren Turner, don't you, Wes? I said, yeah, I know Warren pretty good. And he said, Warren told me, he said, well, first of all, let me back up. He said, my wife almost left me over that documentary because I didn't really tell her what I was going to do till I started doing it. And then, of course, I did a lot of traveling. I was away from home a lot. He said, I spent about 3 months down there in the low country. So he said, it almost cost me with my marriage. But he said, Warren told me that movie would not be a success because I was just talking about history. I wasn't telling people how to catch striper. I was just talking about how they got landlocked. So he said, I took the criticism, and he said, I really enjoyed, meeting with the guys at Striper Keys. Gary Hallman's in that movie, Scott. If you see the documentary, Gary's in it. Warren Turner.
Yeah, they tried to get me in it. I didn't want nothing to do with it.
You didn't want to get in it. But anyway, so I got to talk to Rich, and Rich, the reason I like Rich so much, when I first started striper fishing, I'd been to Russell like 5 or 6 times. So I remember watching his documentary. So I looked him up on Facebook and I messaged him and he called me. And I told him what I was doing. I said, listen, man, I've been down here like 5 or 6 times. I've done killed like 100 trout. I said, my planer boards don't even have no more fucking paint on them. What am I doing wrong? And he said, Wes, where are you putting in at? And I told him. And I said, I'm putting in at a place called Clifford's. He said, go straight across the river. Go all the way. He said, any creek on Beaver Dam, go in the back of any creek, far as you can get, put planer boards out, put you some free line trout out and pull out of them creeks. The first time I did that, I caught a 25 and a 28-pound striper, the first 2 striper I ever caught in my life. And ever since then, I've been hooked. The rest is history. But Rich, what did you think about him, Scott? I thought he was cool as shit. He helped me.
Seems like a Yankee to me.
But
he's all right. I don't know much about him. He's all right.
He's still fishing. He said he was trying to go today, but he's going to sell that bait tank. He said he's going to go in the morning and put in at where's that where you and JR put in right below Smith McGee? Mountain View.
Yeah.
Mountain View. Yeah, he said he's going to put in at Mountain View in the morning and try it. So
speaking of bait tanks, I went to my shed here earlier and I saw my dang super bait tank too with the 3 bilge pumps that are just sitting there. I'm like 10 years strong, just sitting there in the package and everything else. Yep.
You need to get that live bait out. You fishing these damn tournaments, Pete.
Shit.
You ain't fishing kingfish tournaments with damn rooster tails, are you? There's a reason.
I'm not. You're right. I'm holding my own, man. It's a strategy.
Strategy. I hear you.
Dude,
Are you gonna fish the Harwell one this year?
I think definitely I will. Yes, I liked Hartwell so much that I do want to come back.
Good.
Yeah.
Dude, I cannot wait for
We'll do another bet with liquor, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. A lot more serious. You say, "Fuck yeah." You get Benji involved with this one too. Take his damn liquor too.
I won't be pulling no damn clothes hangers. I promise you. 0-0, baby.
I know it, man. I know it. Hopefully it rains fucking 20 inches of rain again, So, yeah.
Who won that? Warren won that tournament, didn't he, Scott? Didn't he win last year?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
That's the only tournament in the entire trail that we've done this far. This is the only tournament that I regret my decision thus far. Because, we didn't finish well, but we had good fish in different creeks, on that day, but they just didn't cooperate for us on tournament day, which is typical, right? But, yeah.
That was really a strange, normal tournament, strange weather pattern. I mean, it's like.
It's always strange in January on Hartwell. It's never been the same.
You always do this pre-fishing and then the weather affects everything, so it's almost like.
Scott, I'm gonna tell you though, like for what I do, trolling artificial, and the way I fish, that kind of weather benefits me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So that's the only tournament that I regret the decision because we decided to chase the one versus numbers, and ideally we probably should have chased numbers and probably, weeded through all small fish to caught 2 bigger fish, if that makes sense.
What's kind of neat I hate January tournaments. I've always hated them, but what's neat about it is the whole lake's open. Like the whole lake can hold fish in January. Just depends on the bait situation, the weather pattern.
Yeah.
Like if you have a tournament in August on Hartwell or August on Watts Bar, everybody's going to be piled into one section of the lake.
Yeah. If I were to do that tournament all over again, West, I think you're about to hint on that. I would have spent more time. So I went in, what was it? Not the Seneca, but the other river, the Tougaloo, right?
Tugaloo.
That's where we caught a couple of bigger fish. We didn't catch a lot of fish, but we caught a lot of, low teens fish, maybe, 9, 8, 9, 10-pound fish there as well. But in the other river there towards Clemson, we caught a couple real nice fish in there. And we were more worried about the mud rolling in during tournament day than anything else. That's why we chose to fish elsewhere. And I think a lot of the better fish were caught in that system.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Seneca's a dirtier river. So, like, it holds heat more. Seems like their fish stay active more, even in colder temps. But
yeah.
You were in a good spot, though, if you never fishing that lake.
I told you to stay in the Seneca, and you wanted to try the Tougaloo.
I mean, when you catch a dang 13.5-pound fish, it kind of makes you second guess where you go, The day
well,
before.
Tougaloo, to me, Tougaloo's always been it seems like your bigger fish come or your skunks, and it's like Seneca is more consistent about what you're going to catch.
Uh-huh.
So it's, in a big tournament like that, I think you made the right decision because, I mean, what's it matter if you finish 12th or 15th,
Exactly,
I mean, you're trying to go first, yeah.
Like I said, Dale Barney beat us by an egg sinker. Literally, it was 2 ounces, I think it was. So, yeah, whatever. Don't matter, though. We beat Benji. So, and I got my liquor. So, yeah.
And Daryl hired a local, and you did it on your own.
You're right. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who did Daryl hire?
Oh, here's a funny thing. So,
Mark Banks.
Oh.
Yeah, so on tournament day, we're actually in the same creek. Don't tell me the name. Don't ask me the name of it because I couldn't tell you. All I know is a highway bridge crossed over it there in the Tougaloo. But
fair play.
Somewhere there, it's near a boat ramp right there. So we're fishing right there, and Dale Barney and his local guide there are fishing the back of the creek that morning.
They're down there by Fairplay boat ramp.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I'm assuming that they don't catch anything. So we're trolling up and down that little stretch of water, and here they come popping out. And he's like, yeah, that's where the big girls live back there. And I'm like, and that's why you're leaving, because they ain't back there, huh? And he said,
what's funny is I only pre-fished twice, but Fairplay was loaded with fish. Like, that was the only place on the whole Tougaloo arm that I marked fish and trees. But I couldn't get them to eat, and the ones I did get to eat were 3-pound hybrids. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Benji said,
but
oh, Benji got beat by me. Absolutely, he did. Don't you worry about that. He did.
Damn.
All that don't matter though. We didn't. It's not like we placed no money or nothing. But yeah, it's all bragging.
I mean, saying you beat Benji ain't saying a whole lot.
I was gonna say, Gary, it's not like you're doing it.
I will honestly say this: I thoroughly enjoyed that lake. I mean, of all the lakes I fished, I think that was probably one of my favorites. More so because the potential of catching numbers is there, no doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming back. I have to admit, I've seen some good fish coming out of there lately. As long as they don't kill them off this year.
Yeah.
Dean Cox is actually catching some nice fish on Harville.
Well, is that Harville?
Yeah.
He said no. He said no.
And look, hey, from some of the backgrounds, that he's on the lower part of it. He's not up there where but he told me he was going to the TR the other day, and I don't know how he did.
The one thing about hot roll is you can take a picture and no one knows who the fuck you are.
No. Hell, that was funny because people were looking at, back when I was doing videos, people would look at my videos and they'd be like, they would actually know where I was. I'd see them there. And I'm like, I can watch my videos knowing I recorded it here and I cannot tell where I'm at. So
I remember where you was.
It's crazy how they study them videos, man.
They really do. Absolutely. Yep.
Hey, Pete, when I caught my first 2 big fish on Russell, I called Patrick and was telling him, and I posted a fish, me holding the fish up on the boat, right? I didn't bore out nothing because there wasn't nothing behind me but water. There was a buoy marker about 300 fucking yards behind me. And what's that guy's name? Scott, what's his name?
Brian.
Brian Bear and his other and Chip Bragg.
Yeah.
Brian Bear and Chip Bragg had some I don't know how they did it, but they blew that picture up and put it on fucking Facebook. Where I caught those fish, the buoy marker. Wes was in Gray Branch, right outside in the Beaver Dam, and Little Beaver. I mean, dude, and I fell out.
People are crafty, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So there's a couple guys on Lake Norman, for example, that post pictures. I know Lake Norman very, very well, and like they could literally like post a picture, and all you see is a little house in the back of the shoulder right here. I'm like, yep, they're in Beaver Dam Creek right there, or Mountain Creek M3. I can literally just pinpoint that little dock right there. Be like, yep, I know exactly where they're at.
When you
people are crafty, man. They really are.
But when you fish these creeks so much, or these lakes and Palmas so much, especially when you're trolling, you're moving slow, you're looking. You just noticing little stuff. You're looking at the bank. You're looking how the little curves in the bank, which way it goes in, and how it comes back out, and what it looks like on a point. You just notice all this stuff, and you'd be surprised at how many people's doing the same thing. And I heard Ricky Harkness never had him caught a fish till Perry started putting all those videos on catching fish on Hartwell, and Ricky blew him up.
As I always tell everyone, you can lead a damn horse to the water, but you can't make him drink, man. No matter what, you can tell someone where they're biting at. Don't mean they'll catch them.
Yeah, but when you do that, though, then you still got to be able to get in there to the trough to get you some fucking water. if you got 100 fucking boats in there, you can't even get up to the trough.
That's right. That's right. So changing subjects here a little bit. I have a feeling, talking to a lot of folks down at Oak Island and everything, I have a feeling that this fall is going to be a very good king bite. Things are starting to shape up. So y'all start planning October days, man, because y'all are invited. Come on down. I think it's going to be a very good fall. A lot of damn 30s and 40s.
You think the hot water is going to help the bite?
It's not about the hot water, it's about the bait. And there is a lot of bait inshore right now. And so once that water cools down, it's like anything else, them kings will find the bait.
There's an ass of bait inside. There's an ass of bait inshore right now.
There's more bait in the river than there is out in the ocean right now as far as menhaden, And so once things cool down, we get some heavy rain at some point. It's going to happen. We're going to get a rain, a month down the road, whatever. It's going to flush all that bait out. And trust me when I say this, man, the very first, I'd say, inland storm that we get, that'll dump 2, 3, 4 inches of rain. That's going to push all that bait out. And that is when that bite will fire off. Whether it's late September, early October, it's going to happen. But everything's in place for what I would consider as probably one of the better falls, in my opinion, in years. So I think this fall will be a very good one.
You know why kingfish is so awesome?
Because you ain't got to go that damn far.
Right. You can run 30 minutes and fish it, baby.
You damn right. Yeah, exactly. The damn overhead is very minimal on that fucking. It's the only dang fish I can target where I can put fucking 6 rods in the goddamn boat and and go.
That's Let me ask you this, Peter. So on a calm day, on a decent calm day, would you try pulling planer boards?
No, I wouldn't even touch planer boards.
Boy, Chuck Tom is killing kingfish down there in Hilton Head right now with them.
Good for him.
Well, what I was saying with the planer boards, I don't see the advantage because, if you put...
I'll be right back, but I'm listening.
Say you slow trolling, say I'll use a trolling motor and bump around, but you don't really want more than 3 rods out, Yeah. And with planer boards, to me, is mainly getting bait in the water. I guess it depends who you're with. Like if you're with 3 guys that know what they're doing, then the planer boards will work good. But if you're by yourself, it could cause a cluster. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotta have somebody get the other ones there. Because kingfish do go crazy as shit.
We know you might have 2 or 3 go off at the same time, and then you got 3 guys that don't know what they're doing, and you're trying to, it can get crazy. But it does spread your bait out. But when you're in, I don't know, it feels like kingfish can see bait so far away. It's like, like they might come from.
It's kind of like when we're in freshwater, though, Scott. When we're pulling boards, we're just trying to cover a larger area of water.
trying to get a lot of bait out there because you're looking for 1 or 2 bites.
And it beats the hell out of an outrigger.
Right. And it seems like with kingfish, they're going to see that bait so far away that if you run 2 flat lines and maybe 1 down the middle, you're going to have your hands full. Or if you run across them. And if you don't run across them, it don't matter if you got 10 planter boards out, you ain't going to get shit, you know. So will it work? Yes. Probably a great idea if you have people in the boat that know what to do when shit hits the fan, you know. If not, you're going to be trying to clear. You're going to try to clear these fucking planer board rods, and this kingfish is going to be ripping left to right, and it's going to be chaos.
Dude, I'll tell you though, when that fish hit, when we caught that 35, dude, that had me so pumped the way that he dumped that reel, dude. I was like, God damn, I could have swore that was a wahoo.
Well, you know, when you hook stripers, a lot of times they run straight back. Or, you know, they might run out to the side. Them damn kingfish, man, when they hit, they're liable to run straight at the boat. They're liable to run straight to the right. I mean, it's tough. If you get a double up, I mean, I don't know shit about it. Pete knows a lot more than me, but I've had double ups with kings, and it's freaking chaos.
So in the fall, oftentimes in the fall time, you don't get a lot of doubles. It's just a single. Occasionally you get a double, but more than likely not so much. But like you said, absolute chaos for sure. No doubt about it.
And if you were one off, it scared the shit out of all 3 of us. I was just lucky. Everybody was going for the rod. I just happened to be under.
Yes,
all I had to do was turn around.
I'm telling you, man, if you get on one of these fall king bites, you're going to giggle like a little fucking 4-year-old, man. I'm telling you. You're going to have the most damn fun you'd ever have and be like, damn, fuck that going out there to the stream for a wahoo. So, you know, you're not a meat fisherman. So you want the pool overall. I ain't going to lie. I'm a meat fisherman. I love anything that I can throw in the grill, you know. King fishing is about the only thing that I can, you know, catch within sight of land that time of year where you ain't burning a lot of gas. A lot of tackle, you know, all that, but it's a lot of damn fun. Good fighting fish, no doubt about it.
And it don't happen all the time, but when they do a surface strike, like it might be the pinnacle of all things.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that's when it happens. I mean, you be out there, you know, you be trolling, and you know, oftentimes it catches you, you know, unexpected. You're out there having beers, chatting, all of a sudden, kaboom, you know, and I've had kings, you know, I can count on 2 fingers, I guess, when it happened. But I've actually had kings hit the prop wash and jump in the damn boat.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Because like you say, you're out there, usually you get like lulled into just kind of, you're just chilling, drinking a beer, and then all of a sudden it's just like, and if one surfaces and then it's pulling drag while he's tail walking, it's like, God, it's the best feeling in the world.
One thing that I have found out with kingfishing is it seems that they bite, you know, in the fall at least. They seem to bite a lot more in the afternoon than they do in the morning. So, you know, that time of year in the fall, I'd say mid-fall, I'm not in a hurry to get out there. You know, a lot of guys want to get out there at 6 a.m., 5:30, whatever. I'm a 7 a.m. kind of guy, you know, be in the boat, pull at the marina at 7 a.m. So get a sleep in, you know, get a party the night before a little bit, drink some. But, yeah.
But it's so nice to be able to run, you know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then if a storm rolls up, fuck, you can you can hit the marina.
I have already, as of 2 days ago, been awarded my entire October schedule because I bid a little different, you know, it's airline talk here, but I know my entire October schedule already in advance, and y'all can kind of plan around that if you want to try to give it a try there.
I would like the kingfish if somebody knows what they're doing. I've done it Guggen style. It's fun. So.
Come on. The biggest X factor for kingfishing in, you know, our area is bait. I have run 20 miles to catch bait just to run 25 miles back to the beach near where I'm at to catch fish. So,
hey, when you're kingfishing, Scott, think Macahoo. Macahoo.
I use king rigs, double stingers.
I thought you knew about that, Pete. You said that was the best thing in the world.
That's the best thing in the world until the live bait shows up.
There ain't nothing like that live bait out there swimming by itself, is it?
Not at all.
I'll tell you,
I don't know about around there, but like in Destin, when you're slow trolling a king rig, I mean, you're liable to get a blackfin or a dolphin or a sailfish. I mean, it's
so since we're so close inshore, it's not a lot of variety, but one of the favorable places that we do catch kings in the fall, it's called the River Channel. It's the locals call it the Old Sea Buoy. It's about 8-9 miles out. And at the right conditions, you do get a few sailfish and cobia, but as far as anything else, not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, last fall we caught a lot of sailfish out there, but that was a 1 week event where they bit pretty good, and then I think the blow came in and all the fish pushed offshore after that.
What's a sailfish good for? Anything?
I've never eaten a sailfish.
I was wondering if they were.
I do say they're very good grilled and even smoked.
No. Well, they're very pretty fish. I'd like to have a picture with one.
They are. So on my most recent trip that I made out there about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, bottom fishing, we had a whole bait tank full of pogies. We're out there in the Gulf Stream. Trip is done. We're dumping all the bait, and I see a big swirl out there about 100 yards behind the boat after I dumped about half the tank full. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. So I'm dumping more. And my friend points back there, what the fuck is that? And, looking back there, it's a damn sailfish crashing these dang pogies I'm throwing back. All right, so let's put a damn rod out there real quick. So I look in the damn bait tank. There's one fucking pogie left in there. So I put it on the dang hook. It's a small one. Toss it out there. And sure as shit, he swirled on it. You see that dang rod just do this. And I don't know whether he felt the tension or the hook, whatever, but it popped back up, and that was it. And after that, he was gone. But it was it was a full grown.
What did you put the pogie? What kind of rig was it on? It
was a king rig, a wire rig.
King rig.
Yep.
Caught a sailfish Sunday out of Hatteras. Yeah, my buddy that lives down there at Isle of Palms, they catch a lot of sailfish in the summer. But I don't know how far they go out.
This time of year, you can catch sailfish anywhere from within sight of land to the Gulf Stream. I mean, they'll push inshore. Basically,
Wes, a sailfish is a mini blue marlin.
It's a bougie marlin.
It's a mini marlin. Yeah, it's not a bougie. It's a mini.
Hey, Lane, since you're listening or watching, whatever, I hadn't asked you officially yet, but do you want to fish the U.S. Open with me and John? I already got a dang Airbnb booked and everything. So the marina booked, all that. So if you're game, let me know. Let John know. Give the dates, but 100% in. I'm off. All that good stuff. So.
Well, he's got a Volkswagen with flowers as his profile, so I'm sure he's in.
Damn. No, I know Lane, so.
I know.
His wife made him do that.
All right, guys. I think I'm getting off here.
Anyways, but.
Well.
Let me know, Pete. I want to go fishing.
Well, that's all he had to do.
Let me throw some dates at you here real quick, just so you kind of have in the back of your mind here. Hang tight 1 second.
I have to beg you to go fish with me. This motherfucker mentions a bougie wahoo, and then all of a sudden you ready to go.
I love some kingfish.
You don't want to run 70 fucking miles of what it is.
Yeah, 2 hours on a beanbag sucks.
Hey, look like you was enjoying yourself to me. You laid back pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't sleep because you let JR drive, and I'm sitting there the whole time waiting for us to fall asleep and have to do donuts out there.
Hey, he's out there taking pictures of the sunset with his phone, just smiling from ear to ear.
I was still drunk.
All right, Scott, keep this in mind here. October 24th through the 26th, 3-day period. That's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's probably going to be the best bet right there for sure. I got a 5-day. I got a guy that booked me 5 days straight for a charter for the 20th through the 24th or 23rd, whatever, for kingfish only. So yeah.
If a hurricane don't blow them out.
Well, don't say that H word yet, but
shit, they 6 tropical storms out there now.
I know it.
What was that date? 20.
October 24th through the 26th, 24, 25, 26. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Keep those dates in mind. I have an 8-day stretch of work that I got to work, and that's it for October. So, yeah, October's a vacation month for me.
10-4. I'll look it up, see if it's possible I can get off that days.
All right. And, of course, Wes, you too.
What? Pete, I'm sorry.
Of course, you two join us. 24, 26.
Well, Perry, I might need a favor from you, sure enough. If, there again, I don't want to mention the H word, but
I can't hear it.
I said I don't want to talk about the H word, but if anything happens down there, you know what I'm saying? Because I said favor. I may get you to drive one of my trucks if I have to move my, because I got a camper. I've got a camper. I've got a camper and a boat down there now. So if a storm comes in, I have to move both of them. I may get you to drive one of my, I'll let you drive my new truck down there, and I'll drive Lori's and pull my stuff back home.
But yeah, there. But
I didn't do that when you called me and told me your air conditioner was broke.
All right, y'all, I'm going to bed. I'm going to see the Atlanta Braves play tomorrow.
Oh, hell. I guess it's a broke down boat. You just figure out other things to do, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm heading to Atlanta.
Why in the hell would you want to go to that blue city? Oh, wait, let's not get into politics in this dang show.
I'm going to switch.
Trump.
Oh, damn.
Hey, yeah, Trump's going to be there Thursday. I might run into him.
He's probably going to fly in there in this damn Trump plane. No, I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Yeah. What a cluster.
You know, they might fuck up, but he might become our president. That would be cool as shit, dude. Because every time they indict him or charge him with something, his numbers go up.
Let's put it this way. Most of America is fed up with the bullshit, plain and simple. You know, not getting into details, politics, none of that. There's just too much bullshit going on, plain and simple.
What kills me is everybody I know, and I know people in New York and Michigan, and everybody's tired of the shit, but then they say he ain't got a chance, so I don't get it. But
I don't. It's city to city is different, state to state.
Yeah.
Myself, and I'm sure you, Wes, and Scott, and others that are watching, we don't live paycheck to paycheck. I fucking feel sorry for those that really do, because this is a struggle, man. You know, so, you know, it's tough what's going on right now, plain and simple. So, yeah.
Gas was $4.50 when I was down there at Buford.
Do you want to know what my marina gas is right now, where my boat's at? $5.75.
Hey, ours went up too, Pete. When I went over there to put some gas in the boat before I took the family out, I was watching the thing turn, and I told Al, I said, damn, did the gas go up? He said, yeah, well, I said, how much am I paying as a member? He said, you're paying $4.61. I said, how much is non-members paying? He said, $5.87.
Damn. Yep.
Almost $6 a fucking gallon. And then people,
I mean, and if you live paycheck to paycheck.
And then people were bitching when I said something about two people going out $400 a piece. $800 don't even cover the fucking gas in my boat.
So, you know, so I'll tell you flat out, my rate for a full day offshore fishing, not Gulfstream, $11.50. Okay. Yeah. No one argues that at all. It's 4 people tops. Okay.
So why was people talking shit to me?
Hell, because you're West Rose, man. That's why you're West Rose.
Really?
But for an average trip for me to fill up, it's $350, $400 right there on the spot. So that's that, and there's about $80 in bait. So there's your overhead right there. It takes me $100 to get down there and back.
Dude, it takes me $700 plus. Now, right now, it'd be over $800 to fill my boat up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's it take to run out 80 miles and back?
In my boat?
Yeah. How many gallons is that? It's got to be.
Mine's 145 gallons, and it would be.
What do you get? 2 miles a gallon?
No, I'm getting a little bit more than that.
With both motors, really?
Yeah, 140s. 140 Suzuki.
I call bullshit on that. Ain't no way.
No.
I figured you get a gallon and a half, maybe.
No. The Suzuki 140 has got the best displacement. It's the best. It's the most.
I got a Suzuki 140.
Suzuki makes. It's the most fuel efficient motor Suzuki makes.
Well, I agree, but I get like about 3. And I figured you would get 1.5.
We did that. We did about 68 miles out, 68 miles back. Mind you, we did a little detour one side of that. And I think we ended up burning about, God, what was it, 68 gallons, maybe 70 gallons, which is on the high end.
I'm going to burn more than that.
Yeah.
Bro, that's about what, 2 gallons? 2 miles roughly?
I can't tell you exactly for certain, but my boat runs. So I ran hard that fucking day. I ran real hard. And that's about, if I run real hard, about 1.4, 1.6. But if I run econ, 1.8, 2.1, depending on how many fat asses I got on the boat.
I tell you what, if I was you guys and I was running that far, my ass be running at 3,000 RPMs. I don't give a shit what the water looks like.
Well, it's like this. It's like this. If I got 4 folks in the boat, I'm running hard. If I got 3 folks in the boat, I'm running a little, a little softer.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference, 3,000 to 5,000.
I'm gonna tell you what makes a huge difference. Weight. Just filling my live well up, dude. That's like an extra damn person and a half on the damn boat.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of weight.
Well, I'll tell you, my boat, for what it is, I think my boat, and I've bought a lot, that's one of the best riding boats I've ever had. To be in the ocean, for that boat to be what it is, to drown, you can ask Scott. That boat rides good.
I think Scott is going to be our official, person here that determines what boat rides better, mine or yours. JR.
Hey, no offense, Pete. I rode in your boat. I know my boat does ride better than yours.
Well, that wasn't a damn good day to ride in, but there's a little bias going on. But
they did tell me, Pete, that you will beat the shit out of a boat. You ain't scared.
Yes, you better bring up the mouth guard, son.
You better not get a Grady White. That transom will fall off.
Damn. No, I do. I will beat the shit out of a boat, but yet I do ride with reason. But these old damn farts like Wes here, they don't understand what beat the shit out of a boat is versus it's time to get the fuck in. Right. So. Yeah.
Well, I just don't, like you said, I'm old. I don't like getting the hell beat out of me and have to go through a fucking chiropractor, And then your boat.
Wes will stay on. Don't let Wes lie to you. That son of a bitch will get on the gas when it's rough as fuck too. Should be creaking and popping.
Damn, red snapper season was fucking proof of that shit.
And then Pete, Pete's got them wore out ass bean bags. When you throw them down, when you sit down there, your ass is hitting the floor anyway.
Oh boy, I enjoy the fucking dang saltwater fishing, man. I really do.
No shit. Though it seemed like last year. I remember last year snapper season. The 2 days, 2 days we had, it was fucking horrible, dude. It's like there
was none last year was a lot rougher than this year, and this year was fucking rough as fuck.
Well, you guys that run out that far and you just show pictures, people don't realize that's a fucking job, man. Running out that far in rough shit. I mean, it'll wear on you.
Man, I'll be honest with you. So
Pete about them amberjack, how your shoulders was hurting.
Hey, Scott, don't deny it. Okay, so you don't do this very often. The next morning you fucking wake up, you fucking hurting places you don't.
I felt good. I'm telling you, man. They were trying to. I'm telling you, Pete. Let me tell you the story because I already knew what was up. I already knew Wes and JR were going to try to get me to. Wes was over there. I'd never seen somebody throw a squid on a hook so fast. I mean, it was like it was the last minute of a tournament. Wes would throw, and he would throw this bait down. He goes, "There it is. Here you go, Perry. There it is. Here you go, Perry." So I had my rod. I wasn't putting no bait on it. I was just dropping down, putting no bait on the hook because I knew this son of a bitch is going to hook up. And he's like, "Come on, help me out, Perry." But
hey, and then we got one in the boat. It's like 30, 35 pounds. I saw it, Pierre, hold him up. Let's get your picture. Scott said, we done took 200 fucking pictures.
They all look the same.
Hey, and then he started doing like that. I said, "What's wrong, Scott?" He said, "My fucking shoulder's killing me."
No, hell no. I could have done that all day.
You did say that, Scott. I said, "You ain't going to say uncle." You said, "I ain't saying shit, but my shoulder's killing me."
No, I did that for the camera.
So here's the difference between that and kingfishing in the fall. Like I can go out there back to back fucking days and be okay, but you do that damn 70-mile run, like you're in fucking pain next fucking day, you know.
That run, man, I give it up to you guys that do that. That run is worse than catching them fish all day.
It's not just that, but like so I don't fish for a living. Those guys that do, like the skippers and the Daniel skippers there and other guys that do guide for a living full time.
Who Daniel Skipper's living on goddamn French fry money.
Well, but I mean he does fish. Well, let's just say if you fish 4 days a week, okay,
you get used to it, man. You do.
Hats off to it because I have a hard time doing 2 straight days of, guide trips. I really do. And I'm talking about lakes, like just lakes itself. My God, like those guys, I understand why commercial fishermen, like they're on fucking pain pills and shit because that shit is rough, man.
Well, I tell you, back when you had black and white cameras, when I tournament fished all the time, when the tournament season started, like me and my partner, man, we'd be wore out. But like you build up a tolerance, like you can handle that shit after a while.
You do.
Like at first your back always hurts because you're sitting there trying to steady yourself all day, and you don't have nothing to lean back on. So you're sitting there like this all day and your back's hurt. But by the end of the tournament season, I mean, you can handle that shit no problem. So you do get used to it.
What wears me out the most is the damn drive to and from the damn lake. If you got to wake up at 4 a.m., go there and back, versus a lake near my house, 10 minutes away. Like I got a guide trip tomorrow morning. It's a 15-minute drive from my house there. Sure, no problem, but if you got to drive 45 minutes one way and the other, and you get stuck in fucking traffic, at some point, that's what wears you out. No doubt about it.
And like when you fish a tournament, like you don't realize how wore out you get. Like you'll get home and your eyes will be rolling at like 7 o'clock. I mean, it's like all day just grinding, boy. You'll be tired.
I think the night before, the true tournament fisherman, the night before a tournament. Oh hell! And this is the way I react. Like the night before a tournament, if I'm onto something, I'll fucking roll around bed all fucking night, just thinking and second guessing myself and whatever, and I just don't get a good night's sleep at all.
And then when you get on the boat, you're tired as hell.
Hell
when it's time to roll out, then you get tired.
Hell yeah. Perry, what you do, man?
That's why, y'all talk shit about me about cleaning them fish. Man, when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm rolling out there at 5:30 and I'm right and I've rowed 2.5 hours out, 2.5 hours back, another 2 hours trolling and then bottom fishing, I could give 2 fucks about cleaning the fish. If there's somebody there I can shoot $20 or $30 or $50 to, depending on how many fish I've got to clean them, here's you $50, get to slicing.
Yeah. I tell you what I do, Wes. I go down there with a group of friends, and we're done. I clean the fish. Someone cleans the boat. Someone runs the damn gear of the truck, and by the time we're all done, we're done at the same fucking time, and we're gone. So it works out pretty good overall.
But you got
to find that damn group that can clean a fucking fish and clean the damn boat.
But you can clean fish a hell of a lot faster than I can. I can clean a fish. But I did get wise. I bought me a Dexter wooden handled fillet knife. And I can't wait to try it.
Sweet. I actually bought myself one of those fish mats that I can clean fish on the boat as well. So
really, I ain't never seen one of those.
Yeah, I can't give an opinion on it yet because I haven't used it yet, but it's there in case the fish cleaning table is not available at my marina.
One of the best things I bought for my boat lately, I bought it at the end of last year. It's the Sea Sucker cutting board.
Okay.
You ever heard of Sea Sucker?
Yeah.
They got a cutting board now. You just put it on a smooth surface, hit your button, and it don't move. It's got a place to hold your knife. And I got the small one. I got the 24-inch one. Dude, it's perfect. Then when you get done, take it loose, wash it off, put it back in your bait tank or wherever you haul it at. And when you lock it down, it does not come loose.
Nice.
Sea
Sucker is what it's called?
Sea Sucker is, I don't know if that's one. My wife may have bought me that Sea Sucker cutting board. Or you told me to order it and you bought it for me. I got it from Amazon. It's like $170. dude, and it's just like so fucking cool. You don't have to put a rod. I mean, you don't have to put it like in one of your rocket launchers, or you can mount it if you want to. You can mount it upside down. Of course, you don't want to do that, but the smooth part of my 32-gallon bait well in the back has got that smooth, clear lid. So when I'm bottom fishing, I just put the sea sucker and I suck it down to that lid, and it's perfect. It's in the middle of the boat. People on each side can get to it. Then when you're done, just wash it off, hit your release button. You ain't got to drill nothing. It's the coolest thing I bought for my boat in the last year was that cutting board.
Cool. Awesome. Well, good deal. All right. Well, it's been a real good show now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, I got a trip in the morning, so I guess this is a good time to cut it out. What do you say?
All right, buddy. And I'll let you know. Let me know how your trip goes, and I'll holler at you probably Thursday. Let you know if we're still going. Keith told me it was looking kind of rough right now. He looked at satfish for me. So, or no, I'm sorry.
Hold on 1 second. Let me look at something here for you real quick.
Copper, you ain't go to bed? Come on, Nico. Hey, buddy.
Come on, Nico. All right. So, what I was looking at right now is your moon phase, and I think coming up this weekend, you're getting
wax and gibbons.
You're getting pretty close to a full moon. So a lot of times, right before a full moon, that dang stream bites pretty good.
Yeah, I see. I looked it up last night. I think we're going to be in a wax and gibbons.
So. Gotcha. Cool. All right, man. Well, take care until next week, I think, right?
Well, I'll talk to you before then, buddy.
Yeah, sounds good, man. All right.
Have a safe trip in the morning. Catch them up.
All right, sounds good, man. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.